So the RUSTIC Subvert is finally finished, and this took quite a while to finish since I did run into an accident. I guess you could call it a happy accident since it kind of forced me to create these really cool fat carbon bolsters or integral bolsters. As you can see, it does have brass in there. Now this is the gold camo fat carbon material, which is just a really cool material in general. but I did have a scrap just big enough to create both of the bolsters. One thing I really do like after contouring this material, it kind of gave it a topographical or a topography kind of look to it. And then for the thumb groove, you do get another kind of different angle of that material. As you guys can see, it does shift in the light, which is really, really cool and addicting to stare at. One thing I wanted to point out was getting these perfectly lined up was a pain, but I just hunkered down and I really, really took my time. As you guys can see, they line up as best as I could get them. One other thing, I did have to put some micarta. So this micarta is actually cross-cut, so you can barely see it right there underneath to hold, obviously, the material of the fat carbon. And then this really, really nice micarta, which was provided to me from, I can't think of his name right now, but he is on Instagram, Material Supply. I just liked the post that he did of this material, and I guess I was the 100th person or something. I can't exactly remember, but I won this material. And I just remember thinking I have to put it on a really, really cool knife, and the Subvert was the one. Now I did end up doing the double beveled edges on these scales as well, and I'll show you a really cool illusion that this gives when it's on the knife. So when I have it fully put together, I'll show you guys that. But you can see right here just the slightest little bevel on the inside here, and then I did a very, very small bevel on the outside just to kind of tie everything together and flow with the liners. And of course I had to put my logo, which is on the show side scale. You guys can see right there, it's just my initials NC, but I'm starting to do that more and more with my custom scales. So if you guys do receive a scale from me or a custom set, they will have my initials now. And of course, I had to create a really nice backspacer because orange just wasn't going to cut it. So I had another scrap piece of the snake skin fat carbon. So you can see it's a little bit different, but you get a bigger and wider weave pattern. And that is why I chose this material, because not only does it have the brass to tie everything else together with the knife, but you get that really, really cool weave pattern that I think complements the bolsters there. And then I also beveled these, as you guys can see right here, beveled nicely, and it does stick up just a tad more above the liners. So again, it does get more attention, and I made sure to vanish at the points so it doesn't poke you in the finger. But I can show you guys that when it is all put together. And that's pretty much it. I didn't do anything else to the knife. So let's put this thing together and see what it looks like. So here it is all assembled, and I'm just really happy that it's finally finished. Like I said, it did take a while to finish it since I did have that little slip up, but there it is. And again, that fat carbon just doing its thing in the light. And then you have this really, really cool micarta. And since it is integral and I glued it down, it's seamless. It's a really nice transition from the fat carbon bolster to the micarta scale. Show you guys the top side. There they are lined up. Again, really happy that I took my time on that. You can see with that really, really cool backspacer. And then there is I did bevel the edges to match up to the liners. Again, just so it's not flat and boring, just to give it some character. And you also expose some really cool angles or a cooler side of the fat carbon, and it just makes it dance more in the light. Just really happy with it. Here is the underside. You can see they line up perfectly, or again, as best as I could. Here is the pocket clip side. And the hardest thing to do with these scales is to bevel this just enough for the pocket clip to sit flush here, and then to actually have a contact point on the scale, since this pocket clip is actually twisted. So if you just put it flat, it's not going to sit right. So that's the tricky part with these scales, but I managed to figure it out. And really quick, just wanted to show you guys that really small beveled edge on the bottom. You can see it kind of leaves a little bit of a gap, but at certain angles it just kind of looks like it's floating above the liners. So I don't know if you guys can pick that up, and just gives that illusion. I think I'm getting that across, but let me know down below if that is what you guys are seeing too. But let's get this thing opened up. Still has great action. Lockup is really, really good. But here it is opened up. Let's get the top side here. And again, that back spacer just dances in the light. Here it is on the underside. And then you can actually also see on the inside of that back spacer does the same thing. There's the pocket clip side. But overall, really happy with it. As always, you guys, let me know down below what you guys think of how this thing turned out. And I still didn't sharpen this blade, since I'll be doing another version of this knife. And I'm going to do a royal version, or a royal subvert. Basically, I try and do a royal version of usually my favorite knife, or a knife that I think will be really, really good with that combination. I'll leave a link up to the Benchmade mini crooked river that I did up here in the corner. You guys can kind of get an idea of what I'm trying to go for, but it involves brass and purple. But that is the plan for the next one. And just so you guys know, these scales are going to be available on my website, and same with the backspacer. So it'll be kind of a kit that goes for the subvert. But there is the custom rustic subvert. Again, thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys on the next one.